Okay, try it again. Hi and good morning, everybody. That was a tune composed by Simon Mogul of the New School. I'm Rebecca Friedman, Director of the Wolfsonian Public Humanities Lab at FIU, and I'm so proud to welcome you to our new season of Coffee and Conversations, Telling Community Stories.
And I'm Julio Capo Jr., the Deputy Director of the WPHL, and we're so thrilled to be here in the historic Hampton House here in the Brownsville neighborhood in Miami. Can you see behind where we are?
See where we are?
Does that look familiar? That's the actual counter, right? If you've seen that incredibly historic image of Malcolm X taking that photo of Cassius Clay, right? I mean, you could see just here in this space, just a few steps behind us. Historic Hampton House is a powerful institution here in South Florida that has forged Black community and belonging for decades. If these walls could talk, these hallways, these rooms, the swimming pool, which is now a gorgeous fountain, have been traversed by so many, including countless Black cultural, political, and social leaders, from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Ella Fitzgerald, Josephine Baker, Jacqui Robinson, and so many more.
And the list goes on and on. But before we learn more, a bit of background about the series. Although we're now in our 4th season, we started Coffee and Conversations at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic as a way of strengthening community ties and supporting the great work being done at our many community partners. We've explored topics from how the pandemic has affected museums and cultural institutions, the histories of anti-Blackness in museum spaces and beyond, and we've explored new works in literature with the Miami Book Fair. Now with this season, Telling Community Stories, we're highlighting the incredible work of our 8 trusted community partners, including Historic Hampton House. We're embarking on a new journey with them as part of a major grant generously funded by the Mellon Foundation to digitize parts of their one-of-a-kind collections, create new archives through oral history projects, and preserve community stories for generations to come. And we are so excited to be here.
My goodness. Briefly, our format, because I really want to get into the conversation, our format is simple and lasts roughly 30 minutes. We'll ask our guest a few questions, and then roughly for the last 10 minutes or so of the segment, we'll take a few questions from you, the audience. At any time during this live webinar, just please submit your question. You can find that button below on your screen. Today, we have the great honor and pleasure of being in conversation with Jacqui Colyer, Chair of the Board of Trustee, our dear friend and incredible worker here, who has done so much to do so. I mean, she's standing, it's just incredible. So thank you so much, Jacqui.
First, Jacqui, can you tell us a bit about the Historic Hampton House? Perhaps a little bit about its history, its significance to the community here in Brownsville, and especially for Black people throughout South Florida and way, way beyond its borders. I know there's so much to say, but if you could give those who may be less familiar a sense of this place's central role in American history.
Ooh.
It's a big question.
Big, just a small one.
Huge, thank you.
You know, having you two here is just so exciting to me because I've already named you my BFFs from FIU. So we're all just glad to be here. Imani's going to join me in a minute, and Imani is our cultural curator. So she will be here, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the experiences that I've had at the Historic Hampton House. I've lived in Miami since I was 6 months old, so I consider myself almost a native. And I have always loved this community and this neighborhood. So a lot of what I've done is just to be a part of the neighborhood. The Historic Hampton House is known as a Green Book Hotel. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Green Book hotels, these were hotels and businesses that were started basically in an effort to be safe havens for African Americans as they traveled throughout the country. And at first they were just in the South, but they began to realize that Jim Crow segregation did not stop in just the South. It was all over the United States. So you find Green Book hotels, which were safe havens, and Green Book salons and Green Book auto mechanics, because you never know if you're traveling, what might happen to your car, or you might need to get your hair done, all kinds of things. So the Green Book was published by this wonderful man who was a postal worker, interestingly enough. And he was a postal worker in New York. But because he was a postal worker, he knew people, other postal workers all over the country. So that was how he was able to, before the internet, that's how he was able to publish all this information for all over the country. But in Miami, there were approximately 7 Green Book hotels. Right now, we are the last hotel standing. In fact, we're the only Green Book hotel in the state of Florida, and we're the largest museum in the state of, the largest Black museum in the state of Florida. I mean, there are other cultural centers, et cetera, but we're both a museum and a cultural center, and we're right here in Brownsville. There are so many stories to tell you about the historic Hampton House. I think that my favorite one, and I'll tell you this one real quick, is that when I was 14 years old, I sneaked into the Hampton House to see Jacqui Wilson. I told the guys I was 18, and I think they knew that I wasn't really 18, but they let me stay long enough for Jacqui Wilson to sing one song, the song that I love the most that Jacqui Wilson sings, and that was I Love You. I thought, oh, he loves me. He loves me. So when you're 14, you think that the world revolves around you, of course. So he sang that one, and he started Lonely Teardrops, but they kind of pushed me out, told me that they didn't think I was 18, and they kind of put me out of the place. But the historic Hampton House has been, like I said, a safe haven for travelers, for African-American travelers. And in 1964, it became really famous as a result of Cassius Clay coming back to the historic Hampton House with 3 of his very good friends, Malcolm X, Jim Brown, and Sam Cooke. And in Miami, right here in basically the movie, first it was a play called One Night in Miami that was turned into a movie, One Night in Miami. And it was everything that you see in that movie started right here at the historic Hampton House. So this is the place where he jumped into the pool. It's not a pool anymore, it's a fountain, where he jumped into the pool and took that iconic photo of him shadow boxing underwater. So it's just an amazing place. And I would love to have all of you and anybody, who wants to come visit us, because we're open every day, Tuesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So come on in, learn about our history. It's our history, not Black history. It's America's history.
And Jacqui means that invitation. I mean, wears so many hats, tireless activist and incredible. The site holds so many important histories, as you noted, Jacqui, and one of them is the history of its preservation. Can you tell us a little bit about that, especially the transformative work of Dr. Enid Pinckney in saving this historic space among so many other historic spaces?
I don't think Dr. Pinckney is 5 feet tall. I think that she's probably about 4 feet 8, but she likes to say that she's 5'2". Never had happened. But she's an amazing, amazing woman. She's almost 90 years old. She'll be 90 this year. But she never stopped. She's like the Energizer Bunny. And she has really done so much. In fact, it was her vision that saved the historic Hampton House. It had gone into terrible disrepair, and it was about to, in fact, they were about to tear it down. And so she put together an effort to save the Hampton House. She met with, and I'm going to give him credit for this, Louis Pinellas, who was also a preservationist who believed in saving history and saving properties. And so Louis and her got together, and the two of them actually got together, and he said, I can get she said, I can get the people, but you're going to have to get the band. And he said, well, it's going to be Cuban food and a Cuban band. And she said, who cares? This is Miami. We just got to save this place. So they had a big band out here. They stopped traffic on 27th Avenue and they made it a real event. Everybody had signs that said, save the Hampton House. And it took her and us 15 years to do everything that needed to be done because the building was basically falling down. So it had to be, first we had to get the historic preservation, the historic designation. Then we had to do the stabilization, which meant, stabilizing the wall so that they would stay up. And it also meant, just doing everything, all of the excavation that we could in order to get the hotel back up. So it took us 15 years. The hotel reopened just in 2015, and we're babies. We're just little babies learning how to crawl, and as a museum and cultural center. And we are excited because we're on a mission to build a permanent exhibition right here at the Hampton House. And Dr. Pinckney is so excited about the fact that the Hampton House is moving into the next generation and the next iteration of what she really saw and had as a vision for the historic Hampton House, and has, given her blessing. She's here probably twice a week. She comes in, she tells us what to do. We all listen and smile. And she, in fact, we had opera here on Sunday. The Florida Grand Opera was here on Sunday. And she came and she talked to everybody, and everybody, of course, acknowledged her. And then she invited more people to come to a closed space. And we said, you can't invite any more people, Dr. Pinckney, this COVID. She said, well, they need to wear their masks. I said, yes, ma'am, they'll wear their masks. So we put some people up in the balcony so that everyone who wanted to attend could be here. So it's an amazing place. Dr. Pinckney is an amazing woman. I tell everybody that she saved my life because back when I was in high school, I led a protest and a demonstration. And the three of us that led this protest and demonstration at Miami Edison. And Dr. Pinckney would not let them expel us from the Dade County Public Schools. And so because of her, I actually graduated from high school. And and when she asked me to come back and be on the board, I was more than happy to be on the board and more than happy to work alongside her because she's tired. She never stops. She's identified 3 other communities in Miami-Dade where Black people lived, but were basically, I want to call it a pogrom because they were basically run out of their homes and forced to leave without being able to carry their belongings. One of them was Bowestown, the other one was Nazarene, and I cannot think of the third. But she got markers, the city of Miami, to put up historic markers where each of those towns were, or those, little communities were, where Black people live, basically in the city of Miami, in the Lemon City area, if any of you are familiar with the Lemon City area. So that's what she's done. That's what she continues to do. And in fact, was at the City of Miami Cemetery. I said, Dr. Pinckney, I can't keep up with you. I am not going to be there. But she was at the City of Miami Cemetery just last week, I think it was, where they recognized and identified the fact that Black people were buried in the City of Miami Cemetery, right off of Northeast 2nd and about 18th Street. And that cemetery has lots of stories to tell as well. But our stories are a whole lot better because our story is about people, having fun at a hotel and doing some great things.
Thank you so much, Jacqui, for all of that. I have the pleasure now to welcome Imani Warren, who is the cultural curator and director at the historic Hampton House, here with us. Thank you for being here and joining us. And I see, hi, that's awesome. I see the poster behind you, which leads me actually to my next question. So it all works out. because many people, perhaps especially outside of Florida, have increasingly learned about historic Hampton House with, as Jacqui suggested, the success of One Night in Miami, the film. It's an incredible testament to the power of this space in changing people's lives and creating Black community decades ago, and still very much to this day. Despite that, it's a tough time for so many cultural institutions as coronavirus has complicated the flow of resources and a slower return to regular operations for so many places. So can you tell us a little bit about how our audience and audiences, and tell us how best to support the historic Hampton House during this time?
I will say one thing, come visit us, come visit. We are proud that because so many, like you said, institutions have closed because of COVID. So many people are still home. So many people are streaming and doing Zoom calls. Because we have such a large space, we can accommodate people, and we pride ourselves on cleaning the space and as much as possible. But we welcome visitors. I've had visitors from Hawaii. I've had visitors from Hawaii. I've had visitors from all over the place. Because of COVID, we try to do something where we have arrangements. So you kind of email us and we can set it up. You come and we take your temperatures. But sometimes people just show up and they want to do something Black. They want to do something historic. And I can't help but to not accommodate them. And those are the people who have given us so much love, so much care, because, you know, this building, as, you know, my amazing chair said, it holds so much legacy, the spirit of Brownsville, the spirit of, you know, amazing history and legacy in Miami. So we want to just continue to preserve that. So we welcome visitors. We have tours Wednesday through Sunday, actually. Sunday is by appointment, but we're here. I'm here to serve our community, our international community. So I say, come visit me. We are COVID friendly.
Thank you. And also, please visit the website. There's amazing stuff on there. You could buy amazing pillows.
It's true.
There's a lot of really great stuff on there. Yeah.
Yeah, the pillows, people love that. And, you know, they're like, oh my God. I'm like, you can take home a piece of history and put it right on your couch. Why not take the historic Hampton House home with you? But I think the thing that's important is that for me, I am not originally from Miami. I am a newcomer to Miami. And for the times that I've been here, I've always wanted to know, where are the places where the African American history is? And so about 2019, I was introduced to the Hampton House. I came and I had visited, and I was like, wow. And so it's the honor and the privilege of being able to be here in this space now to have curate. I mean, young people come here and they're like floored. And what I wanted to do was make sure young, progressive, not just people from Miami, but all over the place. So we have some amazing programs coming up. Right now, we have the BUMP program. I'm going to be starting, and I was just talking to Jacqui about this yesterday, doing a program in regards to our youth participating and kind of doing collaborations with, you know, Brownsville, kind of curating their own experience, painting their way towards the future and what that looks like. We want to get our artists in here and just having the young people vested in this space. So that's why I'm here, because after that, we have to pass the torch, and we can't do that if our young people are not vested. So.
I think that's so powerful on so many levels, in large part too, because it also continues the legacy of the space. That is, this became a home for people who weren't necessarily from Miami too, right? That is, it was a space of Black community building for those who may not have been from South Florida anyway, right? Incredible. So we have just about 10 minutes left. I mean, we could do this for 9 hours and it wouldn't be enough. I want to make sure that if you do have a question, please submit it at the bottom of the screen, and we'll pose it to our fabulous guests. In the meantime, though, are there any other things you all want to plug or tell us about?
Well, like I said, we just had the Florida Grand Opera. That was absolutely amazing. They're going to be coming back on the 13th. And so right now, because of, you know, COVID, once again, we're running a lot of tours. but I think we're going to, our goal is to kick off something powerful and strong when Juneteenth comes, because Juneteenth is a vast celebration. And so we're going to be partnering with local artists, musicians. We want to do something, we're hoping for the best. Numbers are going down. So hopefully by June, we can really do something, a maximum experience for, Juneteenth celebration here at Hampton House.
We also have our concert series coming up that'll kick off on March 27th. It's called Bebop to Hip Hop. And it starts off, the first concert will be with Eric Benet. Woo! Oh, he's so sexy. Excuse me. Sorry. And our the second concert will be, I think this is who we have for the second concert. It's Chaka sings jazz. And and our third concert, we're looking at, we want to bring in a young artist. I'm not going to say his name, but it's a Latino artist who is just absolutely amazing. And so that's who we're looking at bringing in for our third. And the concert series will close out in December with, oh gosh, what's his name? Imani, help me. Okay, I can't think of it.
Surprise, guys. It's a surprise.
Thanks. So that's what we've got going here at the Hampton House. So, but if you really want to see Eric Benet, please go online to From Bebop to Hip Hop, and he will pop up in the sexy navy blue shirt with suspenders, and you'll have a great time. It's going to be outside under the stars, so it's just going to be one fabulous time. And we hope that some of you will come.
That's great. All I can say is you had me at sexy. We will be there. We will be there. We do have one question at the moment from the audience. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to pose it to you. So you're currently open to the public, they're asking. And the answer is yes, right?
Yes, we're here now, open to the public. I think, my busiest days, like I have tours all weekend. So we're here. People love to come on a weekend. And so when you come into this space, not so much during the week because it's like a lot of just traditional traffic. But when you come in here, I make sure Sam Cooke is playing. We have a candle lit. We want to give you a full historical, amazing experience. This is living history, and we want you to come live this history. So yes, we are open.
Love it. Thank you.
I also want to note that in the chat, our dear friend and colleague Hadassah Sanoubert has posted a link to the digitized versions of the Green Book for people to check that out. It's a really great link and really interactive in that way too.
So we have another question here. First of all, from Bria Jones, who says, "Thank you so much for this conversation. I wanted to ask, are there opportunities for internships or participation from college students or recent grads?" Great question.
Great question.
Absolutely. We definitely, especially if you want to do, for seniors, I'll start with our seniors, continuing education, because we're trying to be in a position where we get our seniors connected with our young people. And also I'm developing something special where we're doing like a Green Book scavenger hunt, starting with the historical Hampton House, where you can kind of look and gaze on what historical spaces are still there or not there, who own them, etc. So something developing for our senior program. But for our young people, there's so many things, a mentoring program, visual arts, arts education, historical tourism. Come. I will post, or I'll make sure that you all have my email address. We are definitely welcoming interns. So yes, come see us.
And if there are any FIU students, undergrad or graduate, who are listening, I'm the public history internship coordinator, and I would be happy to coordinate this, and you can get credit for this. You can get credit. In addition to doing this incredible experience and this important work, you can also get credit for this. So, I mean, think about it.
And you don't have to be an arts or history major. If you want to be here. I mean, you don't have to be a history major. We definitely want artists because we have this wonderful book that we're trying to publish for our young scholars. So come on over, help us out. We'd love to have you here.
We got one more question about how people can find out about internships and volunteerism and civic engagement. Would that be online in the website, or should they give you a call, or what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Once again, because it's COVID, we're doing kind of like a curative thing. Oh, my mom is calling me, so sorry for the background noise. We're doing something where we're kind of catering it towards the person's degree. I'm sorry, my mom is calling me. Anyway, but we want to make sure that if you email me, we can kind of have a conversation, set up an interview to see that if it's a good fit, to see if you can come, because even though we do Zoom, we kind of prefer you come in person. But like I said, because we have such a wide, vast space, there are many things to be done at this amazing nonprofit. So yes, send emails and we can kind of, your resume, and we can kind of go from there.
Great, thank you so much. We're unfortunately out of time. We're at the 10:30 hour already, but I want to thank you both so much for hosting us today. And this, I hope, will be the first of many times Julio and I get to come here and visit with you.
And if you haven't been here yet, come right away, right? Do everything the way you're supposed to. Make sure you follow the guidelines and make sure but do this. It's transformative. It is such an important piece of all of our histories that absolutely needs to be understood in this way, that only a kind of visceral experience of being in this space is transformative and so powerful in so many ways.
Yes, what he said.
I think, I don't know. I hope what I said made sense. It feels like it makes sense.
and I, before you leave, I just want to say thank you so much for being here, because this truly is a special, special place. And we are doing some amazing things here, but we can always use a helping hand, another person, another student, one eager, 2, 3, 4 eager students, because I tell you, if you're an art major, we could really use you, because we've got this coloring book and hopscotch game that we really want to put together so that it makes sense. So come on over. We'll figure it out.
Wonderful.
And thank you, Rebecca and Julio. You know I love you, right?
Yes.
Right back at you.
Imani. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. And thank you, audience. We will see you same time, same place. Well, the same link anyway, next week, episode of Coffee and Conversation, where we will be in conversation with our friends at San La Haitian Neighborhood Center. So we will see you then. Thank you again, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.